we take a 2-minute break for a word from our sponsors.
Before Symmetry, I was stocking boxes in the warehouse for $12 an hour.
Before Symmetry, I was a depressed mess and unemployed.
I was a pre-med student.
I was killing myself working about 80 hours a week as a superintendent, raising everybody else's kids but my own.
I was a psychologist for the state of Texas.
5 years ago, I moved from Spain here to America. Didn't speak English, learned the whole new language.
I came from a pretty successful career, but I got beat up when the collapse of the secondary money market happened. I had to start from nothing at 50 years old, and that's pretty hard to do.
I came into Symmetry not knowing anything about sales, insurance.
It scared the daylights out of me, to be honest, and especially going into it being a single parent, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What happens if I have a bad month? You know, what happens if this doesn't work out?
It was about 6 weeks of me just making a mess. But I also knew that I was in the right place. And I knew that if I just kept at it, it was gonna be a great fit.
The income is astounding.
My first week in the field, I went out and wrote a couple of applications, wrote 2 apps, and I was able to make $1,000 in about a week and a half.
I made $3,100 in one night. At the time, that's how much I was making a month.
I sold 6 policies and they all got approved, they all got issued. I got, paid around $4,000. And I remember calling you and being like, so now what? What's the catch?
It was probably 3 or 4 months before I was back to making the level of income that I was used to in the car business, but I knew it was coming. And I knew that once it came, it was going to go way further.
And my first year in the field, I worked 2 days a week approximately. The rest of the time I was able to work from home, spend time with my kids, and I was still able to net $119,000.
In our first year, we were able to replace our income of 6 figures and work about half the time that it took us to work in our previous career.
I made 15 grand my first full month here, and then I think it went up to almost $20,000 after that. And by the 4th, 5th month, I was making $30,000 to $35,000 a month very consistently.
I went from making $1,500 a month as a stocking boxes to over $25,000 a month.
By the time my first year was up, I had made over $250,000. That to me just blew my mind, and I was like, no, I had to go back and recount. I was like, are you serious? I've never ever been in a profession where the money has continuously flowed in like how it has since I've been with Symmetry.
The mass that I made before Symmetry, it was probably like $20,000 a year. So going from $20,000 to almost $200,000, we get spoiled here, right?
In the midst of a global pandemic, the year prior, like each of those years, I was able to get a 6-figure raise to the year prior.
Last month, I had 88 deposits into my bank account. More money in a month than most people make in a year. It's not that I'm so great, it's that the Symmetry system is great.
All we have to do is control our own activity and the money will follow.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Let's go. Love that.
Let's go.
Some nice results, guys.
Man, I love that. Anytime I hear some of those stories, it gets me so fired up. Man, I love hearing, all of them on there are so great. And I think, everybody's kind of heard us talk about Amy Fine's story so long. Wasn't even licensed. She showed up to conference, probably 6 years ago now or something like that, in Raleigh, because she was my nanny at the time. I was just there to help take care of the kids. And now fast forward, like seeing it for the first time, had never been in sales, fast forward, and she's on her 120 run, which is so stinking cool. Then, listening to, I listen to Darren's story every day.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's so many people that can kind of relate to that. Sean Shannon, you can relate to that, man. You were in the same a very similar boat, owned some mortgage companies, and 2007 happened, 2008 happened. And what do? You were making a great living, multiple six figures, successful guy in your business. And how old were you at that time when you kind of had to take a step back and just start all the way over?
About 30. So I was 30 in 2007. So 31. And at 30, I was like, I have arrived. Life is grand.
Yeah.
It's good. How could it ever go bad? Being in that same boat that Darren was in.
Yep.
That boat burned and then sank. And then it was something.
Well, they say burn your ships.
Yep.
Isn't that what they say?
Oh yeah.
You just weren't expecting somebody else to burn them for you.
No. They talk about recession-proof industries, and that was like clearly not one of them. And that was, I try to live as much as possible in the present with a focus on the future and not like the past and, just kind of, but it was crazy. It was like I was watching my life through a movie because it was so like I adopted I think a Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar thing. Instead of just being like, woe is me and catastrophic, I was just like, that's interesting. Every time something just bizarre would happen, or, I'd get it, different things happen when you're in financial peril that are not awesome, but it's like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Or I would say that's awesome because it was just it was like a movie. It was crazy. But.
Yeah. So you were 30, Darren was probably, 40 when it happened. And I think that's one of the things that we probably don't talk about enough. And we always like to say, listen, results may vary. I mean, when you watch that video, you see, all of these different people from different walks of life that are having success here. We could show you a video of all the people that never even got started. It just wouldn't be as interesting to watch. We could show you the people that tried and they didn't like it, or they weren't successful at it. Not as fun to watch. So results may vary, but I will say that when you find out that this is for you, or that you can do this, you'll never want to do anything else. And I think Sean's a great example of that. Everybody on that call was, or on that video is a great example of that. And so it's just something that we don't really maybe talk about enough, is that it's such a cool opportunity to be able to come into something like this and really redefine yourself. There's so many people out there that man, got their teeth kicked in 2008, had a successful lifestyle, and it fell apart on them, mostly to no fault of their own. They didn't necessarily do anything bad, other than they ended up in an industry that, like you said, it wasn't necessarily recession proof. And, now I think that we've gone through, or are going through, I guess you could say, a pandemic. We found that it is also, to an extent, has been so far, at least fingers crossed, pandemic proof. And, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, people need life insurance when the economy's doing well and they have more money to invest in it, they're going to get it. They need life insurance more when the economy's not doing well, and they will make the money, they will find the way to get the coverage. So as long as you're in this business to help people, help families, and your intentions are pure, there's always going to be an opportunity to make a great living. So Sean, you're a great example and testament to that. So if you know people out there that are looking to redefine themselves, Sean, I'm sure you didn't wake up, in the height of the mortgage crisis thinking, you know what, I've always wanted to be an insurance agent. Maybe I'll give that a shot. I don't think Darren ever kind of came to that conclusion either. Like, I think, I've always heard good things about that. So when you're recruiting people like that, you got to put them in a position to see it. And there's so many examples of people that were successful. So they have some money, oftentimes the best people to kind of come in and start a new business. You just got to put them in a position to see it. So many examples of people that first time to see it was at a national conference. So you got 4, 5, 6 weeks, wherever we're at right now. Like, don't pause, get people to Denver. If you believe that this is a good thing for people, then pack it out, man. Get them there. Let them take a look at it. Let them poke holes in it. They may go and say, not for me. And that's fine too. But man, for the people that can redefine themselves and rebuild their lives, there are those moments where you feel hopeless, when you feel like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. My life has fallen apart. I owe all of this money because I was living a lifestyle. And there are a lot of people that are in that position right now that they need you. So go get them. Sean, in addition to being one of our top agencies, you've also always been one of our top teachers, man, one of our top instructors. So we're always grateful to have you and your crew on. What you gonna be talking about today, buddy?
So today, it's accepting the challenge, and there's always challenges. And so I think about it like, both of you guys have said, biggest land grab in the history of the industry taking place right now. And so like there's one thing I always say is, look, you can start fast in this business or you can start now. And those are kind of the two options. So really it's just talking about, applying people from different backgrounds, applying, people with different stories to what they're excited about and why they're going to overcome challenges. Because the thing is that the video of the people that you talked about that were like people that never got started or never identified with it, which I think is big, because I know that was, I started slow. But I got to see the progression. I went to an event. I went to a local area kind of like tour event. Then I went to conference and I got to see the progression of the people in the room. I got to see you guys too, and I got to see the other like leaders at the time. And then I saw them a month or two later and I was like, wow, these people are growing. And that's exciting, and that's where you can be like, oh, cool. I just have to do what they do. I'm pretty simple. So like, I think that they say like good teachers simplify things. Well, when you're simple, it all starts on that level. I just try to learn more so I can
no choice,
bring some value, and that's
no choice.
Yeah.
Good.
Just, time and activity gets anybody there, but a lot of people don't want to put the activity in, and the time is never enough, so.
That's right. Yep. Well, grateful for you, my man. We'll turn it over to you.
Awesome.
And we'll be here muted and veiled. Thank
Cool.
you, brother.
Well, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys very much. Tremendous gratitude for you guys for creating this whole thing, because that means none of us had to. And it just, it makes our lives easier. I mean, this is always like that franchise without franchise fees, which is like, it's unheard of in the marketplace.
Yep.
And we all have that opportunity. So I'm super, super grateful for you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, cool. Well, Sean Shannon here, direct to Symmetry, direct to Larry and Griffin from the Whalen Hierarchy. Super, super, super grateful for each and every one of those folks. I'm grateful for you guys all for being on the call with us here today. I've got a bunch of rock stars that are going to pour into you guys. And so I just wanted to really share. And the cool thing is, this is why this industry is so cool. One of our guests is, at a, family like beach house in New Jersey. Another one's in the tropics somewhere doing the call. So it's just like, you can solve that time money riddle here. And it's all putting one foot in front of the other. And so my hope is that each and every one of you guys say, hey, you know what long-term do I want to do here? And you keep realizing what's possible, but you plant that flag. You start identifying with it now, and you progressively get a little bit better. Work on yourself, work on the things you're uncomfortable with, because people follow leaders and people follow attractive leaders. And the most attractive quality in a leader oftentimes is bravery. It's doing the same thing that we're all asking each and every one of you guys to do, facing challenges. And in doing that, you get better. 70% of learning is in the doing. So I do have this. This came in the mail the other day. It says, if you build it, they will come. It was like a little insurance mailer kind of thing. So my encouragement to each and every one of you, you want to solve that time money riddle, start the building journey, get yourself and many, many others with you to conference. Don't go alone. You can always get somebody to go with you, I promise. It's a tax deductible vacation, nothing else, and you get to learn some things. So we will jump on in with our first guest here. Our first guest is agency owner and elite producer. And so a couple different things that he's done. Last year he hit agency owner and has blistered through promotion since then. So some folks hit those levels of leadership or next promotion, and then they tail off and they go like this. He's always led from the front, which I highly encourage. Build your business on applications, build your business on production. You won't have those cash crunches and the people on your team won't feel those things. But he's also a rock star mentor. His average AP per writer on his team is high, and his people produce. They're getting promoted, hitting bonuses, moving up the ranks. So excited to bring this first person on, agency owner, Mr. Rich Osterhout. Rich, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Can you hear me, Sean?
Good, man. Good. I know you are on vacation this week, but also here with us. So doing a little bit of both. And excited to have you on. So if you could just share with everybody a little bit about your journey and progression over the course of the last year, and how you accepted that challenge of kind of rising up, hitting that next level of leadership, and continued that pace there.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And Rich Osterhout, Director Sean Shannon. Very thankful for you, and very thankful for Symmetry and Brandon and Casey and Brian. We're just really happy to be here. I'm just couldn't be happier with my life right now. I've been here at Symmetry since 2016. Started out slow. I was involved in a few other things. Really ramped things up in 2017, and then really was just focused on myself. I've been in this business a long time. I've been in insurance and financial services getting close to 20 years almost, and very in a lot of very different situations, so I was always like a producer, right? That was my nature. But it was like the pandemic kind of changed things. I started thinking about my future more. I would try building here and there, but very inconsistent. I'd have a few people would come and go. I'd get one person and I'd have that I got a guy syndrome, right? And then 2 months later they leave, so I was very inconsistent with it. But I really decided it's time to be serious. I'm not getting any younger. Said, where do I want to be in a few years for my life? And I really just embraced the building culture. I saw what other people were doing on your team and other people that I met, here at Symmetry at lots of events, when we had events. So excited to be in Denver, right? But I got, intentional about it and consistent about building, but I also started embracing warm market. It's something that I never really did. It was like, I don't want to bother my friends and family. Even when I was an insurance producer or a financial advisor, in past lives, I really didn't like to bother, people I knew. I'd rather deal with strangers, so I started embracing more market, and then things started to click. I found some great people, and, and then they would start to find some great people that they knew. There was kind of like, they kind of followed the path that I was setting, right? So it was really about just not thinking about this agency owner, which I got to agency owner, what was it, November of last year. I was key leader for a long time, and just getting that hump to agency owner, I finally figured out how to do that, right? But then it was like, that's just halfway. I felt myself that this is just one stop in the destination. I'm only halfway there, right? So it was about changing my goals and looking at what's next, getting to 120, getting to, equity partner, all these different things that this company, that this opportunity offers us. I really embraced that. So it was really like, okay, I'm not going to just sit back now. All right. I want to move to that top level way faster than it took me to get to agency owner. Right. And, through my own fault, and, I was happy making money and meeting families and having a good income, but, we're getting older. And I remember you and I celebrated my 50th birthday in Asheville during one of the leadership conferences a couple of years ago, right? And it was right around there. I think it was just before the pandemic. And I was like, all right, well, I'm 50 years old. How much longer do I want to grind it out every day, right? So it was like, this business offers amazing opportunity for us. So I just embraced it.
No, that's awesome, man. And I think too, the cool thing is that you've done some pretty cool things where you've gone and, as a producer, you embraced what occurred when we had to go virtual. Even though you're in Florida, and Florida like may or may not have had COVID. I don't know. They kind of were always a little questionable there. But the fact is that you got back, I don't know, 20 hours a week of your life, just not having to drive around. which was awesome. So then instead of just being at home, you'd go to Park City, Utah and sell. You'd be at the Jersey Shore. You'd be at, your, whomever, your brother-in-law's like lake house, Marshall's lake house. And we always had all these kinds of cool things going on. But you were one of the guys that, when the challenge was thrown out, you said, hey, you know what, I'll do it. And that's what I admire most about you. And that's why I'm so excited about what you're going to create over the course of this next year. In the face of opportunity, there's always challenges. Opportunity doesn't come without challenges. And so but the way that you process those things is always inspiring to me. So now, how did you do it though? How did you maintain the momentum after you hit the agency owner, when a lot of folks kind of fall off there? Like, what kept you inspired in the game and really wanting to turn up the fire on the momentum there?
What it really was, I mean, yes, like I said, I looked at it as, hey, what's the next goal, right? But it was more about getting excited about my team, right? About, sharing the wealth, helping people on my team to get to the next level, right? And I think that was really big. By now, spending time, helping, team member A, B, C, and what was it that they were wanting to accomplish? So I've really been investing in my team, investing in helping them to see the vision. Again, I didn't want them to kind of fall in the trap that I did, where, hey, we're making money, we're having deposits coming into our bank account, life is good, but being stuck there, right? It's like, how do we get to the next level? How do we get that passive income? How do we build a real business so that we can do other things, do good in the world? I have people on my team that have aspirations for, giving back to their communities and, or their church or whatever, right? It is, right? And, how can they do that? How can they really live the life that they want to live, right? So it was really about now really focusing on helping them to get to that next level. Yes, of course, I have to continue building and, producing, at least at this point, but I'm helping them to grow you've been really huge, getting, so I think we have a kind of like an agency mindset now, kind of a building mentality on the team, where everybody, even if they don't have money right now, they're posting on Facebook, they're talking to their warm market, they're trying to find people. Like you said, there's this biggest land grab right now where there's so much opportunity out there. People want to have flexibility. They want to have financial freedom. They want to have better things for their life. They don't want to worry about getting laid off if we're going into a recession, whatever it might be. Right. So people are really digging in one way or another to this mentality. So that has me excited, and it has us keeping the momentum because I'm excited about what they're doing.
Nice. No, that's good. And so, think of it like this: as gas prices go up and inflation and everything else, so many people, so many families, their quality of life goes down, right? Most people lead quiet lives of desperation. And I can promise you this, there's a lot of people that are drowning that just want someone, to lend a hand. Don't make financial decisions. This is for everybody. Don't make financial decisions for somebody else, because you wouldn't want them making them for you. You don't have to force anybody to do this business, but you should let them know about it. So one other question for you, and then we're gonna pivot on over here. How producing is your right now money? The personally producing, you right now today, you get paid tomorrow. That's your right now money. Building an agency, obviously it's a longer term, but it's a more residual and long term, play too, right? And it gets you into that business owner and that investor quadrant there. But how do you balance your time? Because you have a family, have children, do travel, do personally produce at a very high elite level. You're the top producer in the Shannon Master Agency. But then, so truly leading from the front, but then on top of that too, building an agency. How do you balance your schedule to do so?
It's about being very diligent about your time. that's something that I think I'm very organized, and I live by a calendar. It's something that I learned a long time ago in one of my former business, let's say, or in the financial services that I was a part of. They were very big on a word called time blocking. So basically it's about planning your calendar. You want to plan every second of your day. That may, to some people might find that to be redundant or ridiculous, but that's how it works for me. I'm very big on planning, so I have my week planned out. I want to make sure that I know where I need to be every day, and I block out, hey, this is my time for producing. This is my time for building. This is my time for administrative work. This is my interview time. Everything is laid out on my calendar, and I train. Now, obviously, life happens and things have to move around. Emergencies happen. Who knows what happens? But I try to make sure everything is laid out exactly, and I don't deviate from it. Right? If this is my appointment time, that's what I do. That's what I do, appointments. And if this is dial time, that's what I do. If this is my time to run appointments, run interviews, that's it. So you have to be very diligent. If you fly around by the seat of your pants, you'll get lost. You really will. So it's very important in this business to be extremely structured. I try to teach that to my people, about being very structured, and that things, outside of an emergency, or, some sort of major problem, you don't want to deviate from your schedule. You can't do things kind of halfway, for lack of a better word.
I know what you're going
right?
to really say, but
What I was going to say.
halfway.
Yeah. I don't want to say, kind of like halfway, you say this all the time when we have our, team calls, master calls for the Shannon Agency. You always say that you can do this business even part-time, but you just can't do it some of the time, so you just can't, run your life some of the time one way, some of the time another way. You need structure. If you're going to be a business owner, you need to have structure, and you need to create that, and you need to learn it fast. And that, that's kind of my advice there. Even if you're on vacation, like I'm, kind of on a semi-vacation right now, visiting with family, my wife, seeing some of her brothers and sisters she hasn't seen in a while. But I'm still squeezing things in. Friday, I am driving into New York City to meet 2 agents that we have in Queens one is in testing, and one just got licensed a short while ago, and they're struggling a little bit getting going. I'm up here. I'm driving into Queens. Maybe I'll catch a Mets game while I'm here. Nice. They're playing the Miami Marlins Friday night, so I might do that. But I'm going to go to Queens and go work with these people for a couple of days. I even, if I'm even on vacation, there's no sleep. There's no rest for a real business owner. No,
that's good. But it also embodies the, one of the Symmetry's core values too, which is we have fun, we get stuff done. So
exactly,
that's the best kind of stuff to get done, is when you're having fun. So awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing, pouring in. It is no doubt that you'll be on these calls again and again and again, but I appreciate you sharing, pouring in, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. So our next guest, I think this is her first time. You've definitely seen her name in lights on all kinds of leaderboards here, but this might be the first time she's ever been on the national call. Top producer, key leader, won the Mutual of Omaha London trip in her first year of personal producing, first calendar year last year. Already has done over 180 applications so far this year, is currently in first place for the MU $5,000 summer contest that they are running, as well as so she's averaging like 30 applications a month, and single mom who crushes it, bounces it all, building a team now, will be agency owner in a blink of an eye. But superstar, Ms. Jennifer Giovanni, how are you?
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing great.
Can you hear me okay?
Hear you perfect. Tell everybody.
Okay, because I left my AirPods at home, and I had to borrow. So these are the headphones they give you on Delta.
Oh.
So I guess they're working pretty good. Hey, thanks, Delta.
That's good. Tell everybody where you are.
I am in Barbados. This is our last day here. We leave to go back home tomorrow.
Nice. Nice. Barbados sounds lovely. That is great. I'm
Yes.
glad you're able to join us. Glad you got the Wi-Fi. We hear you loud and clear. So let's talk about this. Crushed it last year, personally producing, hit all kinds of accolades, did it with grace. And on top of that, have other, just kind of like things going on. Like obviously you have kids, have things like that happening. You're in front on the Moo trip or the Moo contest they're running this summer. How do you do it? How do you write 30 apps in a month? How do you do those things?
I mean, if I feel like if you want something bad enough that you'll make, there's no excuse that's not going to let you get it. Like excuses are, I can't say it on here, but bull and then the other word. Y'all get it? But that's exactly what excuses are. They're not going to get you anywhere. So I just made sure that if I was like, well, I need to go do the dishes, or Nori needs something from me or whatever, I made sure I didn't let that be an excuse for me not to get us where we needed to be. So
nice.
Yeah, I put the goals first.
Well, that's good. That's good. So you came here completely unlicensed. You were, not in the industry before, had, admittedly some pretty solid sales talent. Now, how do you, I guess if you want to talk about your goal, keeping your goals first, keeping the targets set up there, what are some other kind of how-tos that you have to help everybody here, or some things that, you feel like are important to kind of pour into some of the individuals here?
Man, I'll tell you, like coming into Symmetry is a different world from where the sales that I used to be in before. So first of all, this is not sales. We are selling, but it's not something that you have to talk somebody into. Everybody needs life insurance. It's just making a bunch of friends. Like every person I sit with, we're friends. I had a couple of my clients who knew I was coming here. I wrote apps on them the week before I left, and they texted me, hey, how's it going? Are you guys having fun? I just make friends with everybody that I come in contact with. And what an amazing company that we have that sets up like a foolproof program, right? So hats off to Casey, Brian, and Brandon for coming up with this amazing program. It's literally, you just do what it says. I didn't know anything about insurance. I had no idea what I was doing. I was given the slide deck of the appointment. I was given the appointment to set an appointment, the script, and I just said it word for word until I got it right. So practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you just have to do the program as it's set out. Don't change anything. They wouldn't give us a program that made us fail, because if we win, everybody wins. So I just followed the program exactly as it was given to me, and the results followed.
That's awesome. And the thing is too, your conviction and your confidence comes across in your voice. Like, do you think that that's something that was just naturally, like you were born with confidence and conviction, or is that something that you've had to kind of cultivate, throughout your career in sales and things like that?
You learn how to get there. I don't think I was born to sell anything. I think I feel real passionate about what I do. Like my daughter had cancer when she was 4. So coming into insurance, and my main goal is helping as many people, as families as possible, because I always tell people I don't know what it looks like if we didn't have that insurance, that my insurance agent covered my family so well. But I know what it feels like to have it. And as a single mom, being the only income in the household, that would have broke us. Me and Natalie would have, I don't know what we would have been doing, GoFundMes and living and surfing on people's couches while she's going through cancer. I don't know what it would look like. I have absolutely no idea, but I do know that because I had that policy, we were able to go home after chemotherapy and she could sit in her room, play with her babies, or she could love on me on the couch. And we were doing it together. So it's not that but I guess life experience pulls you to where you're supposed to be. And it is really a passion. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too, you're taking a scenario or like a situation that occurs to a lot of different individuals out there. I mean, all the GoFundMe's, all the things like that we see. And it just so happened that it happened very close to home for you, which is, and allowed you to kind of connect it to your why, which I think is awesome. And then, you're doing a wonderful job with it. But I think too, having that competitive fire, like it comes out, and we talk about support and challenge in this business. You like in the terms of the awareness side, there's been times where you're like, Sean, give me a target to hit. And so I think that a lot of times too, it's, it takes, that awareness in self to be like, hey, so-and-so, upline, agency owner, whoever you talk to, it could be like a partner or something like that.
I totally think that's true. Yeah. Because listen, dude, if whatever you're telling yourself, it's true, right? So if you're like, oh, I can't do this, or this is just too hard, you can't do it and it's too hard. But if you tell yourself, oh man, I'm going to crush this, I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, you're going to do it. On all of my reports that I have on my desk, on the top of my report, it says I am number one, because I am number one somewhere, or I'm going to be. I know I am, because I can make it happen. It's all in what you tell yourself. Your tongue is so strong.
Yeah.
So just be careful with that thing.
Yeah. No, heck yeah. And there's a lot of folks that use it to validate not winning. And I would say that's not the move, and that's scary, but you said it, it's, if it's to be, it's up to me. This is a meritocracy that we're all involved in, and you can, run this vehicle like a rocket ship, or you can run it like a unicycle with flat tires. It's up to you.
That's right.
I guess there's only one tire in a unicycle, but, all right. Last question too, is your building. And I feel like almost every person, or maybe even every person you've brought out recently, has all hit SNA. How do you do that? How do you get them focused on those targets? How do you get them continuing to progress? Like, what are you doing there with those individuals?
I mean, they want it. So I've only done warm market recruiting. And it's just by people seeing what I'm doing when I'm posting on social media, or when we have conversations on the phone, my friends or people I don't know, like when I'm at this wedding, and that's what we came to Barbados for, is one of our friends, my business partner, got married, and a couple of people just heard about me, and of course we're going to talk business if you want. But it goes back to that being genuine with people and telling them, hey, look, you can do this. Let me show you how. Let me help you. I'll hold your hand. Let's get it together, and helping them go through the system, because it's new, right? Like, everybody comes in. It's not like they know. This is all brand new. So just giving that care and passion to them, and really loving your people, because they're people. You know, we're here, we're in a people business. So just helping people and connecting on what is it that they want? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I think that's so powerful. Why would you want to do this? And then understanding why. And then here's your how. Like, let me give you your how. This is how you're going to do it. And then once they see it unfold, because you're following them every step of the way, you're seeing their activity, and it just happens. It just happens.
Oh, that's awesome. You said something that's super powerful too. You said you can do this. And I think that actually, I don't know that message gets said near enough to individuals, because sometimes people are looking for permission. They're looking for some.
Man, if I could do this.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I'm a mess. Like
I'm
Rich
not the
talks about being
smartest.
all organized. I'm like, ooh.
I'm definitely not the brightest crayon in the box. So if I could do this as somebody who didn't even finish high school, like anybody can do this. I finished the course in 3 days. It's because I wanted to. And the majority of the people who came on my team had finished the course in less than a week. And it's just because they want it. They want it really, really bad. And if you want it bad, I'm spending some time with you. Like my time is where people are moving their feet and putting some work in. So
yeah, absolutely. That's something I say too, is I say, look, I have unlimited time for the people moving their feet. For those that don't, like whatever I've left over, and that's just how it goes. But awesome stuff. Is there anything you want to end on before we transition over? I just want to say, thank you very much. Welcome to the limelight, because I know you're gonna live up here. But
this is the second time I was on this call, Sean.
oh, the second time.
Should know that.
There you go.
No, I do. I want to say thank you to you for always having my back like a jacket, and giving me good talks whenever I need them, which is a lot. But we have such a great team, and Brandon, Brian, and Casey for like building such an amazing company for us to come in and be single moms and rock it and give our kids like the life that we've always dreamed of. So super excited. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see you fly. So and enjoy the rest of your trip there, buddy.
All right. See you soon.
We'll see you. All right. So our next guest, last guest for the day. This guy is super near and dear to my heart because I have known him for so many years. We were college roommates together. And I was probably the most annoying college roommate anyone could ever have. But he still talks to me to this day, which means definitely a special place in my heart. Elite producer, elite builder, won contests and things like that, all that kind of stuff in both. Truly leads from the front, agency director, $1 million pin award winner, just all and out rock star. Plus, definitely our team party and fun and bartending coordinator, which is always an exciting role. That's like one of those levels of leaderships that's like it's written in white out, I think, on the Symmetry level of leadership thing. So, but superstar, one of my bestest friends in the world, Mr. Brad Shinovar.
Hey, how you doing, Sean?
I'm good, buddy. I am good. Good to see you. Looking very spiffy today with the crisp dress shirt on.
It's the only clean one I had, so I'm glad it looks good. But just grateful to be here with you for sure.
Nice. All right. So talk to us about, I guess, consistency. Lead producer, lead builder. How do you have consistency, and how do you build that consistency?
Well, real quick, I just want to start. Brad Shinovar, director Sean Shannon, Larry Griffin, Marsha Whalen. First thing I want everybody to tune in on. I'm going to say a few things, and I'm going to try to say just a few things to hit home. If I can teach you one thing that's free, that will change your life, and it will change the people in your life that you care about, and that is gratitude. Okay, I have tremendous gratitude for you, Sean, tremendous gratitude for the owners and the founders and all the leaders in our company. And I will tell you, how do you be consistent? But if you want to do one thing to change your life, start thanking people and being grateful for the people in your life. Put it out there and it will come back to you, right? Because it is free. Again, did I mention it's free? And it will change your life. So first of all, I'm very grateful for you. Some days more than others, right? Some days are harder than others. Some days we have to accept the challenge more than others. But when it came to like being a producer at first, I will tell you, for me, it was fear of failure. Okay. Why I was able to be a lead producer is because I was afraid to fail. So I worked a lot and I had a very strong work ethic, period. You're not going to get anywhere without it. My business partner, my wife, the most important person in my life, she has a saying, which is don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Right. And I think that like, you have to like, absolutely do that. You have to like, be willing to work hard. You have to be willing to do that. And I think you said it when Brandon and Casey asked you, or maybe it was Brandon and Casey asked you, what's the one thing, if you could just do one thing? And it's kind of like people's why. Well, I look at our cornerstones. The first thing is belief. If you don't have belief in yourself, if you don't have belief in Symmetry and what we're doing for people, you really don't have a fighting chance. And it doesn't mean you can't grow belief. It just means you need to start there, right? So if you ask me, like, how did I become an elite producer or elite builder? I believed. I believed in myself. I believed that Symmetry could work. I believed in you, right? And I'm unfortunately not going to say anything novel today because I am 100% a result of the Symmetry system. Like to a fault. I'm a guardian, and so I'm going to guard the process. I guard the Symmetry system and the Symmetry process like nobody's business. Just ask anybody that's tried to get me to do or consider anything, which is not a good thing, right? Outside of what the Symmetry system is, because part of Symmetry is, you know, being able to change and evolve and have that entrepreneur hat. But I would say follow the system, right? I heard a saying, you can't beat the numbers and the numbers can't beat you. That was my salvation. I wasn't trying to be better than anybody else per se, but I knew if I needed to win, and I knew if I believed in this, which I did, and I saw other people winning, that if I just did the right things, if I put enough of the numbers in, I was going to get the numbers out. And that's it. There's no secret to being an elite producer. It's like, you've got to buy leads. You've got to work those leads. You've got to do recruiting, warm market recruiting, cold market recruiting. You've got to do all of it, and you've got to do all of it all the time, at least during your work schedule. Okay, so and I would say one other thing. How do you become an elite producer or builder? One, you bring your wife on, right? She's helped us from a building standpoint because she's way better than me. But what she is she's way different than me, right? So you need partners, whether it's running buddies in the business, spouses, friends, other leaders on your team, and you want people that aren't like you. Okay, don't go collect a bunch of people like you, because you guys will all be potentially pointed in the right or the wrong direction. But having other people around you and being willing to grow. You know, I know for a fact, if you surveyed every single 120 in this company in their top 3, but I'd bet most of them the top 1 reason they would tell you that they were able to get to the top contract is you got to grow. You have to become a better person. And me, I'm not there, right? That's why I'm not at the top contract, because I still have room to grow. My goal is to grow in my my person, not in my pants. But definitely, I think growth is just, you know, again, am I saying the same thing that's a Symmetry system? Yes, guys. There's absolutely nothing more to it. I wish there was, but the secret sauce is not secret, right? We have the formula for success, and then do the work. Like, you've got to be able to do the work. So I know that was a rampage, but that was like,
you ripped through the 4 cornerstones in 3 minutes. You hit every one of them like that. And that's why it's always too, like, I think folks get into, like, you know, you can call it the pit of despair. You can call it a lot of those things. It's, you know, in that moment, it's not looking at the future of what they really ultimately want. They're focusing way too much on that present at that point. But they just need that little, hey, here's my scorecard. Where's my belief? Where's my massive action? Where's my association? Where's my growth and development? And, you know, it's pretty easy to be like, oh, ooh, I got to work on those things. So that's good. What has you excited right now?
I have 3, and I will just say them, and then you can ask if you want elaboration. I'm excited about Switchboard. I'm excited about Conference, 42 days away. And I'm honestly most excited about the new products and development, because they differentiate us from everybody else. And for the way that we're going to business and able to go to business, it's unbelievable. Like, I can't stop being excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too, and we can, you know, we'll talk for a moment on them. We've differentiated ourselves so much from competition that it almost becomes we don't have competition. And of course there's going to be chirping in somebody's ear and things like that. But you look at even those companies going through turmoil, and it's just like, oh, we stay the course. You know, it's like, that's the consistent side of this business, where it's just like, hey, our value proposition continues to grow because of, like, the things you're talking about there. So in terms of, all right, well, let's go dealer's choice. Of the 3 you named, which one has you most excited?
Well, I'm most excited, honestly, right this minute for Conference, right? Because it's tangible. The switchboard's coming for some people have it, some people are getting it. New products are in development. I think those are game changers, but conference we know, and that's the other thing, guys. I want to hear two messages I want you guys to hear. Maybe three, but one is gratitude. Two is growth, right? You've got to grow. If you want to be more, you got to become more. And then the last one is leverage Symmetry. I don't know, we're rereading, or I'm rereading, but we're reading it as a group, The Compound Effect, and there's a story in there of the guy Brad, right, who makes all the bad decisions, how the compound effect works against you. Don't be a Brad, right? Well, listen, here's a Brad thing. Okay, Brad Schinnebar, I don't think has a huge ego. And I think there's two kinds of egos, but I don't think I have a huge ego. But I think because we all so badly want to help people and we want people to be successful, that we think the best and the only way to do that is to do everything for them, with them, hands-on. And it's probably the biggest mistake that almost anybody will make, because I would bet you any amount of money that Sean has, right? I'll bet you any amount of money Sean has that every single, a good bet for me, right? Any leader in this company is going to tell you, no matter how great their success is and no matter how great people think they're, Danny Young would tell you the Symmetry system is more powerful than Danny Young. It's more powerful than Kevin Purdy. It's more powerful than Edward Pritchard. I'm not naming names, but I'm naming names. It's more powerful than Brandon, Brian, and Casey, because it's all of us, right? The proof is in the numbers, right? This company's become so analytic because that's where the truth is. Well, the truth is, don't try to do it yourself. You're going to burn yourself out. Let the system do the heavy lifting. What that never registered for me, I mean, I heard it, I knew what it meant, but it means you've got to let control over. And any of you guys that haven't watched Summit, go back and watch it, that are building a team here. They do it better than what we can say or do. They have the best people doing it with the most succinct messaging. Leverage the system. The number way you can leverage the system is get people to conference. It will, one of two things happen. 99% of people come out of there fired up. 1% come out shriveled up because they're afraid of who they are and they're afraid of what they're capable of being, but what they're unwilling to do to become it. Right. And I'm okay with that. For them, hopefully it's an enlightening moment and they can grow from it. For everybody else, let's go. Let's go. Like, this is the time. Forget about the challenge. I don't see it as a challenge. And trust me, I'm a guardian. Everything's a challenge to me. Right. But this is exciting. Like, this is the most exciting time because really, I believe this is anybody can be successful here. I really do believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're seeing so much more of that. And even the things you talk about, just with switchboard, it's like, okay, that's the angle to maneuver in and provide so much more efficiencies, points of contact, all of those things where you don't have to be the one to create a customer contact platform. You don't have to do anything. You just have to plug in, embrace the challenge of something new and take advantage of it. And you're going to see folks that blow the doors off production wise. And so I guess kind of in closing too, I was going to ask you about balance. Balance is kind of wimpy to end off. What are some things that you've got that, that would be a good send off for everybody here? So
I was privileged enough to speak on the whaling call yesterday. So I apologize for any of you guys that are hearing it again, but I will tell you guys that there are two pains, just like, everybody's going to go through the pit of despair. Don't get stuck there, right? But there are two kinds of pains in this world, and everybody is going to experience one or both of them. And the first is the pain of discipline, and the second is the pain of regret. And I can tell you that the pain of discipline is temporary. Okay, the pain of regret is forever. And I 100% believe, I 150 million% believe that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, what you do with it, I can't control that, right? But you have to be able to stand up and say, hey, I want more than what I have, and I'm willing to do more to get that. And you have to be disciplined, or you're going to miss out on potentially the greatest thing that's ever come across your plate in life.
Oh, I know, man, that's so true. That's so true. And there's so many folks that it was, because it's never fast enough, but that people came and they left. And I promise you, like, stick it out. Like, I think Danny says it all the time, but stick it out long enough to figure it out. It's not about selling insurance. We're definitely in the people business, not the insurance business. We happen to sell insurance, but you can change your life here, and there's no reason not to. Comfort is in a place to live, that comfort zone. jump on out of it. So, Brad, I appreciate you, buddy, for sharing, pouring in. My brother from another mother, you're the man, and I'm super excited to be, seeing you in the very near future. But thank you for sharing, pouring into everybody. Thank you to Rich. Thank you to Jennifer. Thank you, Brandon, Casey for putting it all together, and everybody else. That's all the backbone of what we have. One last piece for everybody is this: regardless of whatever you have going on thought-wise in your head, get yourself set up, teed up for conference. I promise you this, my 100% heart, felt promise is you will absolutely not regret it. It'll change your life. The more you lean in, the more you commit to this, the more you'll really, really find a life of significance and impact is possible for you to lead. So get yourself teed up, get yourself registered for conference, get yourself set up. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Brian, do you closing out or am I good to go?
You closed it just fine. Rockstar. Appreciate your intentional leadership. Awesome stuff. See you at conference.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Peace.